Hello and welcome to this video on Mary and why she is considered a model of the Church. This video is for the GCSE EdXL paper on Catholic sources of authority and wisdom. So first of all, who is Mary and why is she important to Catholics? Mary is the mother of Jesus, and because of this we regard her as the mother of the Church, because in birthing Christ, she in essence gave birth to the Catholic faith. She's also known as the Theotokos, which translates as God-bearer in ancient Greek. This is because she gave birth to Christ, who is God incarnate. Another reason she's important is because she initiated Jesus' first miracle at the wedding of Cana, which was the miracle of water into wine. Mary believed in Jesus' power before anyone else and was the person to encourage him to do his first miracle. Mary was also born without sin. This is very important, as because of Mary being without sin, Jesus was able to be ultra sinless and therefore able to take away the sins of humanity. An analogy to explain this is through sponges. So, for the sake of this analogy, let's imagine sin is water and humans are sponges. Firstly, we know that all humans are born with original sin and are therefore all born as a wet sponge. Humans are all born with original sin because of the fall of man, when Adam and Eve took the fruit in the Garden of Eden. God then cursed all generations of humanity with this sin called original sin. This is passed on through conception. However, when Mary, Jesus' mother, was being conceived, God removed Mary's original sin so that she wasn't born with sin like the rest of humanity, but was born as a dry sponge. This event is what we call the Immaculate Conception, as Mary was conceived without sin. Then, when the angel Gabriel came to Mary and told her she was pregnant with Jesus, Jesus was also born without sin, as Mary did not have intercourse to have Jesus, and therefore no conception took place. This event is called the Annunciation. This meant that when Jesus was born, he was a really dry sponge, as not only was he not created through conception, but his mother who bore him also had no sin. This is so important, as it meant that Jesus was able to soak up all of humanity's sin, which allowed humans to have a full relationship with God in heaven. This proves how important Mary is, as without her, Jesus would have been unable to be the perfect sacrifice in ridding the world of sin. So, now we will look at why Mary is a model example for Catholics. Firstly, because Mary is a model of discipleship. Mary believed that Jesus was God in human form as soon as she became pregnant at the Annunciation. Mary told the angel Gabriel that she is the servant of the Lord, meaning she will give her body and life so she can carry Christ. She's also a model of discipleship, as she was the first person to believe in Jesus' power when she initiated Jesus' first miracle at the wedding at Cana. Mary is regarded as the model of faith and charity, as at the Annunciation she believed the angel Gabriel as soon as he told her she was pregnant. She also trusted the Father that death was not the end for her son. And she gave up her own son as a sacrifice so he could take away humanity's original sin. Mary so loved the world as to give her only begotten son. The final reason why Mary is considered a model of the Church is because she is joined with Jesus. This is because Mary's role within the Catholic Church is inseparable from her union with Christ. This is because of two reasons. Firstly, Mary and Jesus are both born without sin. Mary's sin was removed at the Immaculate Conception, and they both were assumed into heaven. Pope Pius said that Mary, having completed her earthly life, was assumed body and soul into heaven. Because of this, we believe Mary is watching over us in heaven. This is why we can pray to her by saying the Hail Mary. The two beliefs of the Immaculate Conception and Mary's Assumption to heaven are the 2 out of 3 beliefs that have been regarded as infallible by the Catholic Church. This is a form of extraordinary magisterium, as this type of authority does not happen on a day-to-day basis. In fact, it has only happened 3 times, with the Immaculate Conception and the Assumption of Mary, and more recently, that women will never be priests. It is declared as pontifical magisterium, as it has been declared by the pontiff. the Pope, where he has spoken ex cathedra, which means in authority of the Catholic Church. The Pope has declared these teachings as infallible, which means they are never wrong and therefore no longer able to be discussed. So now we know Mary's significance. How do people show devotion to her today? Most Catholic churches will have a statue of Mary. These are sometimes in a special chapel called a Lady Chapel, which is a small chapel within the church at the side of the main church area. Statues are important to Catholics as they are used as an aid to worship, so that Catholics can focus on statues, which helps Catholics to concentrate when praying to God. There are many feast days which Catholics show devotion to Mary. For example, the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, where we remember that Mary is in union with Christ as she was also born without sin. There are also many hymns and prayers dedicated to Mary, such as the Hail Mary. And the use of rosary beads is a way for us to honour Mary. This is because through praying to Mary, we can connect to Jesus. This is because the different parts of the rosary remind us of different parts of mysteries associated with Jesus' life. There are also places of pilgrimage associated where Mary has appeared. For example, Lourdes, where she appeared to Saint Bernadette, and Walsingham.